Hi. So, sitting here, just about to go run some errands. I have all these thoughts in my head, so now I want to share my thoughts because there's a reason that my head's getting flooded with thoughts. Because I'm basically being told to share this information, so let me share it with you. So, recently, I have been watching a lot. I watch a lot of sci-fi anyways because there's so much truth in those movies. And then sci-fi horror. And I will tell you, the common denominator between sci-fi horror, perfume, commercials, every other thing that you see pretty much right now on TV is Black Goo. Some type, Mentos, so pardon me. Some type of black substance, what looks like a black oil, is all over everybody. Now, for anyone who doesn't know about Black Goo is a sentient substance, right? It's conscious, just like slime mold is conscious. I've talked about slime mold before. Slime mold is a very, very, very impressive being, I guess, because it's conscious, right? So it's a being, but yet it's slime mold. So this sentient Black Goo is everywhere, and it's most likely in all of us. It's programmable matter. So at one time, it was just a black organic conscious substance, and then these motherfuckers came along and mixed some nanotechnology in there, and now we have this insanity. So there's two forms, evidently, of Black Goo. There is a sentient form, which if ingested, like you become like super, super smart and your whole demeanor becomes much more relaxed. I guess they wanted to give it to soldiers at one time. I'll find the video that talks about this, but they wanted to give it to soldiers. And what had happened in the test was that instead of making the soldiers aggressive, it made them very compassionate and laid back. So obviously it didn't work as a weapon tool to give to soldiers. However, there's another one. It's more demonic. So it has, if you start looking up what's really going on, it's kind of crazy. It's very sci-fi, but guess what's fucking reality? This is where we are. We have no clue really what's going on. We just think we know what's going on, but we really have no fucking clue. So this Black Goo is everywhere. In fact, it's rained Black Goo in several places in the States. It's rained, I think, twice in Black Goo in Michigan. They have black substance fall from the sky. They always try to dismiss it as something else. But if you look overhead, can I spin this around for a second? See that gray? The whole fucking sky is gray, right? Whole thing, right? And then you always have this weird dust on your car. And anyways, we also have this film on our body, wetware. Aurora talks about it. I have shown it coming off of my body through some of my purges where this actually like wetware goo comes off. So, I watched this Project Ithaca, and one of my homies sent it to me, so thank you, homie. I like to keep my shit on my side. So anyways, he sent it to me. I watch it. Fucking blew my mind. A, horrifying. Watch it. B, it totally aligned with the video I had listened to of Friends of David Goldberg, where they said that they're going to start taking truthers, or it's already happened, and they're going to take them to the underground bases, and they're going to torture them for 100 to 1,000 years, and they're going to cut off their limbs, and they can keep them alive, and they feed off the adrenochrome. Well, spoiler alert. If you're going to watch Project Ithaca, spoiler alert, okay? Well, in Project Ithaca, guess what they do? They keep these fucking people alive for thousands of fucking hundreds of years, all at different times. They don't even know what time it is. And let me tell you, it's quite horrible how they create this fear. But it's not the fear that I want to talk about, because I don't really fear a lot. It's the mind fuck. Because there's a certain, spoiler alert, there's a certain scene in there where they're inside the mind, trying to trick the mind, thinking it's in another situation of reality. And the fact of the matter is that we all have nanotechnology in our brains, okay? Proven. It's not a question. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. We all have nanotechnology in our brains and in our system. Not only is it in our brain and in our system, but we have this relationship with this box right here. We're connected. We're connected because of the AI virus inside. We are connected because it's us in a virtual sense. This is the mirror, right? This is the 2020, right? Wouldn't that what it would it be right now? That's the reflection, the mirror of me, the hall of mirrors. But anyways, so the connection between this black goo and this mind fuck is that the black goo is the mind fuck, right? Because that's the one that gets inside and can read your mind and play all these tricks on you. Now, Harold Kaltzvella in his Woodborough Basis talks about black goo. ODD did a sick video. He put together all of the different shows and programs and what I was saying earlier, commercials and everything else that talk about black goo. He did a really good job with that. So when you see that and you see the overview of how many of where it is, right? Where it exists everywhere. It's even in movies. There's one movie where she feeds the black goo men. I forget who it was, but she feeds them fucking men. Like she lures them home and then bloop, they go into the black goo and it eats them. So in Project Ithaca, they played this mind game, but the mind game was inside the goo and they were all covered with the goo, which means it's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the food. Fucking rained black goo. In fact, Merkel and Bush own property in Paraguay next to each other where it's richest in all of the world. Now, why would that be? So, that led me down when they were showing in the thing how the mind game was inside the mind game. And one person didn't know that the mind game was going on because their mind wasn't strong enough and they didn't know the game well enough to know that they were being fucked. But the other person knew that it was a fucking mind game. So when they were presented in a situation, they knew that the situation wasn't real and that it was a mind fuck to get them to fucking fear, to feed off of it. I hope I'm making sense and that we're following along because it's just a whole bunch of information coming in. But the fact of the matter is that we are in a sci-fi world. Like legit, like I'm not playing games with you. I'm not asking you. We're in a sci-fi world. We're in a sci-fi world. You can teleport anywhere in the world in an hour. They can cloak shit, right? Everything you can pretty much imagine they can do because they're at least 50 to 100 years advanced in technology. I mean, our government has had what is called a TB3, our astral aurora, and they've had it since the 90s. And what it is, it's a craft, right? It's a triangular craft, and it has full cloaking device, meaning it can cloak anywhere. Well, it can get speed of sound travel. Here's the kick-ass thing: it can disappear into thin fucking air. Flash a light, the whole fucking thing's gone. Now, this has been here since the 90s. Here we are, 2020. So it's time to have this full vision, right? To really get what's going on. I can talk to you through a phone. We can talk to each other through a phone. They can create a hologram of you next to me and we can have a whole conversation right there. Right? You can show how things are created through sound and light, through frequencies. Everything is through a frequency. So, what I'm saying to you in a nutshell and in a long explanation that's probably all over the place is that it's really kind of important if you want to get through this system to really have an overview of what's taking place. It doesn't matter if you believe in it or not, it's still taking place. You can connect the dots. Does it exist? Yes, black goo exists. Do scientists talk about it? Yes, they do. Did it rain from the sky? Yes, it did. Does Merkel and Bush own property next to it? Yes, they do. And you can go on and on and on and on, which means that substance would be a pretty prominent substance, right? If it's in a broad spectrum like that. Now, the other side, where the mindfuck comes in, is that if it's a sentient and it can be programmed with nanotechnology and put again into nanotechnology, which means you can't see it, but it's in the air and exists everywhere. You ever like roll your skin a little bit and then you get like, it looks weird. Like it's like blackish. You're like, I don't know, was that cream? Was it make? Oh, it's this. This is what it is. And everything gets disguised and dismissed as something else, but I think it's really time to face the fact that black goo exists. The Blob, all movies had it in there. So the last movie, where it was all over the place and it was very evident to me if the black goo feeds on fear and we are programmed for fear, okay? And most people live in fear of everything every day. And there's no need. There's no need to be scared. Be you without fear. Be motherfucking you without fear, okay? Just be you. It's okay to be you. All the rest of it, all the world is a stage. What isn't a stage is the sci-fi shit that's taking place to us. Everything else is the distraction from what's taking place. So this programmable matter is inside of us. And what I'm trying to stress is that this stuff is inside of us. It's programmable matter. It's in you. It's in your brain, which means it can put thoughts in your head. It can control how you're thinking, what you need, what you eat. You know, it's like telling someone that HEC 293 is aborted fetal cells and it's in fucking Pepsi, and they're like, oh, they want Pepsi this week. What the fuck is the matter with you? But it could be they're an NPC and an NP soul, or it could be the fact that something else is in control. It's taking what it needs to feed. Because, you know, aborted fetal cells would contain a whole lot of misery, aside from just being aborted fetal cells, right? So, getting kind of cold. In 2020 vision, I think it's really, actually, let me rephrase that. I know it's very important to be aware of yourself and not so easily distracted with the bullshit, because the bullshit is what's going to sink you to the bottom of the rabbit hole. We're all in the rabbit hole. We see the light and we see different tunnels, and if you're not paying attention, you won't be in control and you will sink to the bottom. You'll be down there with the sticks and the twigs and the rotted little leaves, and that will be where you stay, because that's where the fear is and that's where the feeding is. We have something in us that can program us to feed off of us, if you're following along. So, what I would suggest is to really start paying attention to yourself and put down the fucking phone. Put it down. If you want to make it out of the matrix. I do not dig this rabbit hole, man. And every time you think you know something, you don't know anything. You don't know a fucking thing. I'm like, I had this figured out. No, because this whole thing goes with it too. And I thought I had this figured. But, you know, when you start thinking about it, we have more shit in us that makes us non-human. But even though, let me remind you that a human being is listed as a monster is listed as a human being, vice versa, in the Black Law Dictionary. So we are, in essence, monsters, which I actually think we're some lab experiment. I'm totally in line with that. I believe that some of us are from source, and that we are true love. I totally believe that. But for overall, this big, huge thing, I think the people with heart and soul, we kind of got trapped here. They needed us a little bit more to feed this place, because we have more love, more light inside of us. But the fear and what's taking place could be taking place in your own head and not being real. And I don't mean that you're crazy. I mean that we're dealing with technology that does this. The very Bluetooth technology you use, well, that is, it has V2K technology. Basically, it has voice to skull technology. Meaning, when you put the fucking ear pods in your ear, which is a cell phone tower, when you put them in your ear canal next to your brain, it can send signals. It can send a radio frequency that sends a vibration, and your brain is going to read it as a message or a thought or whatever it may be. See where we're going? So I needed to get that out for whatever reason. I can't keep fighting when this push comes over me that I'm supposed to just push it all out there. Somewhere in there, there's information. You can pick it apart, take it all together, connect the dots, whatever you need to do. But this is a virtual reality. You are watching KB Visions through a screen. I'm over here, even though it looks like I'm saying it there, but I'm over here living my life. This is a virtual part of me. You can't touch me. You can't feel me. You can't smell my kick-ass perfume. So, don't get stuck here. It's happening. It's happening really fast. I'm watching people go quicker and quicker into the system. And, let's see. So this person walking by right now, and have they looked up yet? No. All the way from over there to over there, head down, reading the phone. What the fuck is that important? Are you that lonely in your own life? Put on some music and dance. Just be a goof. Do whatever you need to do to disconnect, to reconnect, or you will lose yourself and you'll never have a connection again. Much love.